Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here, ready for our next episode, playing as MIDE in Thrones of Britannia, trying to unite all of the factions in Ireland under one High King. And just want to address briefly some of the great feedback I've been receiving from all of you, and a couple of things that have been observed that I think were very good advice moving forward. Number one is that I probably have more armies and therefore more generals than I need to at this point in the game. That's one of those things that you just kind of learn through time, and that has caused me to spend more money than I otherwise might have. The other thing is that I'm noticing, especially as I start getting into sieges, is that even though I know that javelin are my best missile fighters for my particular faction, it does not mean that necessarily javelin's the way I need to go for all my missile troops. I can see that I desperately need to have some archery, some archers, particularly for the sieges, because they've got long range, whereas the javelin men obviously don't, because they're throwing those javelins. So I really need to be focusing on archers moving forward, at least for the time being. I'll still have javelin, and I'll still want to get them leveled up for endgame, but for now, that's kind of where we are. So moving forward, we're going to go ahead and take some turns. We're going to see how everything settles. I'm a couple of turns away from getting an upgrade here in my melee units, which is kind of the path I want to go down. I can also focus on defensive tactics if I choose, but I've chosen to go on offensive tactics since I'm going to be trying to expand. And we're going to continue to go down. Eventually we'll get wolfhounds, foreign warriors, and eventually get to the elite troops that I really want to have. So we'll see how that all kind of shakes out, and we'll look at upgrading some of those troops when we get the chance. A joyous occasion. These family members have been blessed with a daughter. Let's take a look real quick at what the situation is right now in the family. So we are at the place now where we can seek a wife for my heir, who is 16 years old. So we want to think about, this bride seems suitable. Who is she? And why is she suitable, I guess, is the question. This one is an adulterer. Her husband may not be aware, but her dalliances are common knowledge among the people. So why exactly would that make her a worthy bride? Is it even going to give me the option to see who she is? I guess not. Yeah, we're going to wait on that one. I guess we have to wait another turn. Once per turn, and it costs 400. Okay, so good to know. It's expensive to seek a wife, but I don't think an adulterer is the one that I want to start off with for my heir. I do have a daughter that's 13 and a newborn son that I just had. So, I don't have a newborn daughter, my bad. So that'll be good. We'll be able to marry them off someday, many years from now. But let's take a look at the situation now. I'm moving my army back into friendly territory. We'll have them park right here from now. All right, now I want to look at my settlements for just a second and see where we might do some upgrading. A lot of upgrades are really expensive, so I'm just not financially in the position that I can really do that at all. In fact, there's very little I'm able to do at the moment. It may just be that I have to kind of bide my time for now. No. So I've got a general here with no army. Actually, that's not me, so it doesn't matter. I want to take a look at the public order in this, because we still have kind of an issue with that here. And I guess I got to figure out some ways to deal with that. Nothing really I can do here at the moment. And maybe I need to think about changes to policy overall, but really right now the thing I want to do is I want to get through this next turn so my research can be complete. So I'm going to sit tight for a couple of turns, I think, and let things play out around me, and then look at what may come next. Alright, so an interesting decision to make. It's time to decide whether or not to hold the fair. I could desperately use that 500 in treasury, but the bonus to legitimacy certainly is going to help me. So I think we will hold the fair. Let's take a look. We've got technology completed, and there's really nothing else I can research right now other than these melee units, because I haven't unlocked the necessary traits to be able to research anything else. So let's take a look real quick. Trained fighters. Widespread knowledge of advanced training techniques for sword fighting and axe combat has forged soldiers of sufficient skill. Sending out word of the need for these learned warriors will ready them for the call to battle. So it unlocks the recruitment of new units, or I can go down this way and get a plus 20% shield effectiveness for sword and axe infantry units in all armies. Boy, that's tough. The next one here, professional warriors, down the road, after I get these few here, is going to give me a plus 5 to upkeep cost, but a 30% reduction in recruitment cost for new units. So I feel like I may go down those next couple of options and then do defensive tactics. I think that's the way we'll go. So still not a lot of gold in the treasury. I want to look at the economy for just a second. Tax level is pretty basic, pretty medium there. We can see trade here, and I'm just going to kind of look down a little bit at the map, and I guess, yeah, there we go. I can kind of scroll. I want to think about where I can expand next, because I've got a nice size army, but it doesn't do me a lot of good if I don't use it. So I got to think about where I can expand so I can take advantage of that army. Let's take a look at some of these other places. Actually, what I want to do is look at diplomacy. This is probably my best bet right here, because it's already hostile with them. It seems like a natural place to expand. The main thing is, who are they friends with? And they don't have any. So that's probably ideal. Let's go ahead back to the strategic map, and we're going to go ahead and look at that. Obviously, most of my armies are in the south, so let's figure out what to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and send my main army up, I think. Although part of me makes me wonder whether or not I shouldn't leave them in the south and then just start moving my other armies up. So let's start with these guys, and we'll start moving them up to the north here. It's going to take at least 3 turns to get them there. I'll do the same with this army. We'll get those 2 armies moving up there, and we'll combine them, and then that's the force that we'll use to invade the north. So it's going to take a couple turns to do that still. Alright, so we've got a new ability for one of our generals here. He's real low on influence, so I don't have to worry too much about him being a threat to my king. We've already done quartermaster once here. I think we'll keep in that direction. That's going to allow him to move a little faster. Alright, so we've already got him selected. So let's look at the map real quick, because I want to see where it is that we're trying to go. Here's MIDE here. This is the territory that I own, so I've got a long way to go. You can see where my armies are on the map. There's my king is down here in the south. This is where we're trying to go. So we've got 3 armies fairly close. I'm going to go ahead and move these guys over here just to have them in position, but these are the 2 armies that I'm going to go after him with. And you can see he doesn't get along too well with anybody nearby, so I don't think anybody's going to be real upset if I go after him.
Our bravery is legendary.
Here's army number 1, army number 2. Let's get them both in here, maybe, is the way to go. And that's where we'll launch the attack from. So now we've got to go ahead and combine these forces. It's not a real big army at the moment.
For the glory of the Gales.
But I'm hoping it'll be enough to get this done. It gives them 801 men. I think that ought to do the trick. But let's go ahead and recruit some. We're going to have to get them in the city first. Maybe not.
The men are eager to
Still kind of feeling my way through the mechanics of everything. Alright, we need some. What we need is some bow infantry. And so it's going to take a couple turns for that. Once that's done, we'll launch the attack. We're going to be going up into Kelmore right here, and that's the only settlement they own, so it should be fairly easy to take. All right, the fair, a time of celebration. The folk of Iriu come from far and wide to take part in the great fair of Teltiu. As the kingdom at the heart of Iriu, MIDE has always hosted the fair. Those who have fallen are honored with toasts and stories. Bargains are struck and oaths exchanged. Out in the ancient enclosures, the young men run races and compete in feats of strength and martial prowess. While war has its place for the duration of the fair, everyone is a friend and life is lived to the full. So 7 turns for the fair. My goodness. So does that mean that it's kind of taboo to declare war during the fair? I don't know. It's going to take a couple turns for my surf archers to get up to speed anyway. And by that point, our next technology will have been researched. So I'm pretty content to kind of hold off on that. Let's go ahead and move this general here. We'll get him over there. And then I've got this other army right here that I will probably move up into this village once I make my march. But we'll hold off for now. Alright, economy, army upkeep's up to 1900 now, which takes up just about all of my income, which is why I'm barely making anything right now. You know what, I think maybe we'll go ahead just for a little while and bump up the taxes. I know it makes everyone unhappy, but I could use the little boost to my income. That's going to take it up 711. Let's do that for 2 or 3 turns. Make some money so I can make some upgrades to my existing settlements. Then we'll take this territory and hopefully we'll be in good shape. Another faction destroyed, the Nordmen. And Fortriu. Alright, and man, there's a lot of factions going down right now. So we should be down, I would guess. Is there a way to see easily how many factions are left? I'm not sure. But there can't be that many left at this point. Let's take a look at our army. Alright, there's still just 32. It's kind of going slowly. I'm thinking maybe I've got enough archers at this point to make it happen. But I'm going to wait one more turn to get this technology upgrade. Which is going to allow the recruitment of new units, and I want to look too at whether or not I can upgrade some of these existing units. Upgrade's not possible because there's no improved equipment available for the unit in this province. So nobody's available to upgrade right now, but we'll see if that changes after this next technology is complete. Okay, so we've completed trained fighters, and now we're going to start working on professional warriors. The other thing is, I'm looking at this. Kern swordsmen can be retrained to be raider swordsmen, which I believe are the next step in their evolution. If you look back to here, melee specialist, when I first unlocked that, that allows the recruitment of raider swordsmen to replace the Kern swordsmen. So that is an upgrade for them. So we're going to go ahead and make that retraining happen. And it happens instantly. It costs a little bit of money, 150, but it's not real bad, honestly. So there's not anything else I can do at the moment with anybody else, but I think we're ready to go ahead and launch this attack. We're going to go ahead and declare war. Alright, so we've got allies. I don't think we're going to call them to help. I think we can handle these guys on our own.
We're ready. Go full out. Got it.
Let's do it. And we took the settlement without a fight, apparently. Subjugate, I think, or occupy. Now we're going to occupy this one and make it part of my income, which is now at 1,500. So that's really helpful a lot. We'll probably go ahead and let this go a little bit longer before we drop it back down again, but I'm finally getting a decent income, so that's going to start allowing me to have some more options. So I think the next turn, where I'll be up to about 4,000, we'll look at where we can make some upgrades to the settlements. But that was really easy, and I'm very pleased with that. he does appear to have an army, but it looks like he's going to have to come back after me. So I get to fight defense on that one. Alright, so his army has come at me. If you can call it that. It's 27 men with his general. It's not even a battle that's worth fighting. We're just going to go ahead and auto-resolve our 879 men against his 27. And that ends that threat. Lost 1. Killed 27. So, let's take on the warriors. Not that there are any that are left. Another faction destroyed. Do it. And of course, the one that I just took out. Oh, yes.
Seek him a wife, and you may find that he serves you with renewed vigor.
The Northern Worm turns. The time was Northumbria was somewhere many of its neighbors looked up to, a center of piety and learning, but that stopped when they made their deal with the Viking Raiders. But now the English in the north have had enough, and they've set their armies on Northumbria's puppet king. Interesting. All right, so yeah, we need to deal with this marriage issue. So let's go ahead and take a look at the family tree for a second here. We've got to find a wife for my 18-year-old. She's 32, but it's kind of old. But all right, we'll do it. Need to have some kids and get it going fast. My daughter, it looks like another year she'll be able to be married off. Maybe that'll make an alliance for me of some kind. Alright, so I've got a decent amount of money now. I'm starting to make some gold in the treasury. I've also got a decent food surplus, which is really helpful. So right now we just need to start looking at my territories and where I might consider upgrading, because I really want to be able to get some civic upgrades as well as the military upgrades that I'm working on right now. And civic upgrades are going to require some different things. Leadership, for example, hubbub, builder upgrade within the Moot Hill Law or Thing chains, or conquer a region with the highest level building in one of these chains. Same here. It enables the building of taverns, but I've got to upgrade within the Market Hall chain. Here is the Monastery chain. We've got arenas, which is in the Garrison chain. This is the Forge or Blacksmith chain, and the Granary or Suterian chains. So whatever it is, I just have to upgrade something as high as it'll go, which gets really expensive. So I'm going to look around a little bit and decide on something. So I'm thinking the way I want to go is industry at first. I don't know why, I just feel that. So what I've got to do is I've got to upgrade forges or blacksmith chains. So I've got to look for those in my territories, and I'm not entirely sure that I've got any. Right here we've got forest woodcutter, we've got grange, tithe barn, great hall, royal hall, but I'm just not sure that any of those is what I'm looking for. So I think for now, what I'm going to focus on is upgrading these tithe barns. I want to try and make sure that I've constantly got more than enough food to feed all these armies that I've got in the field. The other thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to look for my next focus of expansion, because obviously I'm getting bigger. It seems like this is maybe the natural target here, but I really need to think about folks that have a negative opinion of me, and for that I look right here, but I don't like how that looks. So I want to keep all of my territories kind of intact and don't want to be spread out too far too fast. So I think maybe we'll go right here, and I've got my king down there already, so let's go ahead and look at that. Now, I don't have archers with these guys. We're going to retrain these raider swordsmen. And we're going to go ahead and I have no bow infantry available to me right now. I do have warhounds, which is kind of interesting. And artillery I cannot do yet. I Man, I really wish I could get some bow infantry, so that worries me a little bit that I won't have that. But they don't have much of an army here, so I think I'll be okay. Alright, again, this is a territory that is not getting along too well with its neighbors, so I think this won't be an issue, and I'm not going to call my allies to help. And I'm not going to quite make it there. It's going to take one more turn before we get into this fight. So he marched his army right past mine, which I'm not sure why that's possible, because surely I would have intercepted him. But he marched his army right past him and went up and took one of my right past me and took one of my settlements. So we're going to march over and deal with that right now. In the meantime, I've got some unassigned skills. And I like the idea of continuing down the same kind of thread of skills just to kind of maximize those. So for now, that's what I'm going to do because I just want to make sure I get more income. But now, let's go deal with this guy.
War is what we do best. Go full out!
And again, he did that with 12 men. So I'm going to auto-resolve that one too. I want to try and get us a good fight for this episode. I'd like to have at least one of those in every episode. But so far, my enemies just don't have the troops to even offer resistance at the moment. And I'm playing on normal. I'm not playing on an easy mode. I don't think I am anyway. Alright, there we go. So we got that territory back. Now we go back and we deal with him, but that's going to take another turn to do that. Alright, so this is interesting. An ally has declared war on another faction and calls for my help. Let's see. It doesn't look good for the allies. But, hey, we're going to honor our agreement. This may get interesting. Obviously, I've got the strength to be able to stand up to just about anybody because I think I'm ranked 4th or 5th in terms of faction strength. First you heard that the Searson ruler had disappeared. Then almost at once word came that he had died, although no one was quite sure what of. And hot on the heels of that, there's news, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that name, of a couple of places mobilizing their armies. None of this is a coincidence. Something duplicitous that your neighbors are up to their necks in, and if they can do it in Searson, they can do it here, obviously. So that's happening up in Scotland. That's really not an issue for me right now. What is an issue for me, number one, is that my technology, I've got professional warriors, so that's going to help a great deal to my income. I'm going to switch to defensive tactics now, which is only going to cost me 3 turns of research. We've got a building that requires repair from their little siege that they did there. Let's go ahead and
None shall stand against us. Bring me their heads.
take this settlement, and then we can go ahead and proceed to help my allies. Alright, another faction destroyed. Now I want to take a look and see who it is that I'm dealing with here. I guess we're dealing with these guys down here. So I just got to march south with my army. Not a big deal. First, though, I want to see. I still can't recruit any bow units. I don't have any available to me at the moment, so we're going to have to march on without them. Next turn, maybe we'll get a real fight this time, but it looks like, again, not much of an army there, so is this the army I've got to worry about? Yeah, this is the one I've got to deal with, but let's let him come to us. Oh, time for another fair, is it? Yeah, let's hold the fair. Why not? It all improves my legitimacy. Our scouts are reporting that a small raiding force from Hayden has been seen approaching Britannia. Not something I need to concern myself with too much.
The men are eager to get to it.
Alright, another army that we're going to take out here. And again, all we're dealing with is his general. Oh, I didn't want to manually fight. Oh, boy. Okay, so I guess I got to go in and do that. Alright, so I had to fight him once, and then I had to pursue him and fight him again, but that's the end of that army. So now we continue, turn our attention south. It's going to take another turn, but we've got a major, or well, it's a minor settlement, I guess, before we take the major one. Maybe we go this way first. So next turn we'll go after his provincial capital, which I don't believe is guarded at this point.
The men are eager to get to it.
I also need to look at continuing to upgrade. I've got a decent amount of income coming in every turn. One more turn until the Great Tithe Barn is completed. I should probably look at things that are going to help with public order because it's bad in some places, like Ligen, for example. Let's look at construction because we've got some different possibilities here. Toolmaker is what I really want, but I don't have the technology to build a toolmaker. So this is supposed to help with corruption, which I don't really think is a big issue for me right now. A tanner. We've got a high cross, which is going to help with fame, help with public order. So that's only 364. So anything that can help me with public order there is going to be really important, I think. So I guess that's all we'll do for now. Oh, somebody wants to blackmail me again. I'm not going to go for it. Viking Raids, that'll continue to be an issue. Nice amount of gold in the treasury now. Just got to decide how to use it. We're maxed out on that. I don't think, though, that that is one of the options that gives me anything to unlock here. I just don't have any of the things that I need. Market Hall is one of them there. Forge or blacksmith, I just don't think I have any of those. So I've got to look around again and see where it is that I can upgrade that's going to allow things to happen. This is going to be an expensive upgrade here. I want to see if it's even worth it. So there's the building browser. You can see the chain in order to get maxed out on that one. Let's look at all buildings for a second. Here's industry. And now this is a much better way, I think, this building browser, to look at what I have available. I don't have any forges. So unfortunately, I'm just really kind of limited. Church is one of the few things I can max out. But I've got major issues with public order in some of these places, so everything's going to have to be based on that for the foreseeable future. Let's improve our trade a little bit, and I think we'll stop right there for now. Alright, we're going to go ahead and march on the faction capital here, and we're going to have a fight. In fact, I've only got 685 men against his 780. I'm not entirely sure this is a smart use of my troops at the moment. I may need to just maintain the siege and then rush some reinforcements down there as quickly as I can. So let's go ahead. We don't need 2 battering rams. One will do the trick. We'll get a couple of siege towers going. We're going to maintain this siege, but he may come out and fight me because he's got such an advantage. In the meantime, I need more troops, but I think almost all my armies are up in the north. Yeah, that is not good because it's going to take me a long time to get anybody down there. In fact, it'll just probably be quicker to recruit somebody, but I've got to have a general to do that. Yeah, that's multiple turns. They're never going to get there in time to help out. I'm not sure that I can... Yeah, I can't recruit while I'm in foreign territory. Alright, so I'm kind of stuck on my options here. I think I probably have to raise another general, unfortunately. This guy won't cost anything, so that's the way we'll go.
Glory of the guilds.
But it's still going to take me.
Can't do
There
that
we go.
just now.
Alright, who can we recruit?
None shall stand against us.
Sword infantry, spear infantry, axe infantry, skirmishers. Man, nothing I can do to get additional bow infantry, which is really what I need. But skirmisher cavalry... Actually, no, that wasn't what I wanted, but that'll have to do. Let's get some Kern axemen in there. Alright. Hopefully we can get them into a decent amount of serviceable manpower and send them down there in time to help with the siege. Okay, so as I feared, he's coming at me. So the good news is that means I'm not attacking his settlement. The bad news is, of course, that I'm outnumbered by his reinforcing army. But this is the big fight that I was hoping to give you before the end of this episode. So we're going to manually fight this one, and we're going to see if I've learned anything about how to fight. Okay, I'm ready to start my battle. I believe I am the defender here, so that gives me a little bit of freedom as far as waiting for him. I'm up on some high ground here, and I left a nice big open space in front of me. I'm hoping that helps. I've got all my missile infantry, which is all javelin, behind me. Of course, they're all tier 1 troops. I do, however, have my first tier 3 group, which is the raider swordsmen here. So I put them in the middle because they should be some of my best fighters. Although if you look at it, I guess the elite sword infantry are better, even though they're tier 1. So are the tiers maybe tier 1's better? I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense. But I put everybody that can be in a shield castle, which means they can't move, but it's going to protect them from...
Cavalry charge to the rear of an enemy.
It's going to protect them from what might come at them as far as missiles go. These guys can't do that, though. I don't have superior numbers.
The enemy has reinforcements.
Here comes his reinforcements now. But he's got to come at me. And that's the initial army.
Wipe them.
Back here are his reinforcements. Let's take a look and see what he's got. He's got spear infantry, tier 1. Javelin men, spear infantry, axe infantry. I've got to be concerned about that. He's got 2 units of those. Those axe infantry can be tough, so I think he's probably going to wait for his troops to get on the field, so that gives me some time to keep an eye on what he does.
No one gets out alive.
So we'll wait until he gets closer, and we'll come back for the fight. I decided he's got this unit that's all by himself out front, so I sent my skirmisher cavalry up. I'm going to go and deal with them while he's waiting for his reinforcements to get there. There's no reason I can't just wipe these guys out.
Missiles away.
So I'm going to send my household riders as well. We'll come in and wipe these guys out, and then that won't even be a factor when the rest of the troops arrive on the field. Let me go ahead and speed up here. I just got to keep an eye out and make sure that I get out of here before the rest of his troops arrive, especially with my leaders. Who's up front? So this is javelin men. I've got to make sure that I'm out of there before it's too late. I may not get there with my household cavalry in time. We'll see. Just got to be careful of these javelin men. I should have done this sooner.
Our general is under attack.
Our general is doing the attacking. Alright, his javelin men aren't in range yet. I can't even see how many men he's got here. There they are. 16. 14. Alright, they're getting closer. I'm going to have to pull out soon. He should have backed these guys up. I'm not sure why he didn't.
See, they flee before our might.
All right, let him go. Let him go. Get out of there.
The enemy general is dead.
All right, we killed the enemy general. Now we're going to flee just before his men get there. Now we wait for his attack. What is going on here? Why are... Okay, those are his men, I guess. Alright, so I took out 26 of his men. I lost 5. And let's see what kind of formation he's in. So he's got spear infantry over here on this flank. Javelin men up front. Archers. He's got a few archers. Well, not a few. He's got 120 archers. That's a problem, because they can get in range before I can fire back. So you can see I've got a shield castle with 3 of my 4 up front units. These guys can't form one. Okay, here he comes. He's got 100 more men than me. He's got archers, which worries me a little bit. And they're moving fast.
Strike them hard.
He doesn't have any mounted troops.
They can shoot us here. Javelins.
And yeah, this is the problem now, because he can fire his archers from there, and I can't hit him. So unfortunately, what I've got to do is move my javelins forward. That's the disadvantage to not having archers. And now he's backing up. Come on, you chicken. Come back and fight me. I'm going for his archers. Oh yeah, now what? Just like that, took out half his archers. Alright, now we gotta back up. So it's kind of a game of chess going right now. What I need to do is hit his archers and then pull back. Boom. Nice.
We're being fired on. Watch for missiles.
All right, what's going on over here? Did one of his units break already? His archers broke. Excellent. All right, we'll bring up the skirmisher cavalry. Nice. Now he comes in range of my javelins.
Swordsman. We're ready for this. Crush the spearmen. Let's get to it. Get the sons of the Morrigan. Incoming charge. We're ready for this.
All right. I'm going to send my household cavalry around if I can, so I can hit these guys. I want to hit those javelin men, but it looks like I may run into his spear infantry in the meantime, which is dangerous. Alright, so that went really well. I took out most of his army already. It was just really a matter of getting around his archers. Alright, that's pretty well going to do it. That went really, really well. I'm kind of surprised at how well it went. Awesome. Alright. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how that went. Only lost 57 men, killed 416. Makes the siege a whole lot easier now. We're going to kill the captives. And now, once the turn comes up, I want to see how this siege looks. It may be pretty easy now to just go ahead and march into the city at this point. Though I think most of that army was a supporting force, which means they're probably still in the city. So the siege is going to continue. But let's take a look here. We've completed the research on defensive tactics. So my shield effectiveness is up. I can upgrade these Fianna band to Fianna swordsmen there. But right here is what I'm really thinking about. So we're going to do that. I'm going to wrap this episode up here in just a minute, because I know it's already been pretty long. There's been a lot happening. Got a nice income. It's going to only improve when I take this big city here. Alright, so here's what the siege looks like at this point. Now, it's just 386 men against 634. But again, I can see the benefit to holding off while I get some of these additional forces involved. So I'm going to hold out a couple more turns before I do that, but I'm going to wrap up right here with this episode because I think that's a good stopping point. As always, I welcome your input. I've already learned a lot about how to play this game better just from your comments, so please keep those coming. I welcome any advice that's going to help me to be a better player. Hopefully that also helps other people as they see it as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you again probably in 4 or 5 days with another episode.